Alright, here's this go-kart I'm swapping an opposed twin onto. Well, I already have swapped it on. I'm just waiting on a torque converter and a starter gear to come in the mail, because when you press the starter button, yeah, it's pretty shredded up. And I just ended up ordering a metal one, which is what that abomination has, and it works out just fine. I put the voltage regulator and the thing that turns it from AC to DC, I think a full bridge rectifier or whatever else is in there, and it stops it from the battery from back feeding into the coil and draining it and possibly frying the coil over a long period of time. I'm not sure. Fuel tank needs to be mounted much better. Some sort of heat shield needs to be put in place here for long-term use, because I don't want this seat to catch on fire. This is a seat that used to be one of the seats that used to be in my truck before I swapped them out for slightly nicer ones. And of course, it's a little bit loose, but not like, you know, you're not gonna go flying off when you slam on the brakes. And yes, it's a handbrake on a go-kart only, but it'll work out fine. You don't need you don't need foot brake, not necessarily. I mean, you're supposed to have one, but like it'll brake just fine. The seat works. So I do have lumbar support. Steering, I just did an alignment. The throttle still needs to be a little bit adjusted, and I gotta figure out a better stopper than this block of wood that I drilled a hole into and then beat it onto that little metal stub. Okay, it's not focusing. I ended up drilling a hole in the floor for the throttle cable so I wouldn't have to put it along here. Ended up working out a lot better than the previous solution. Let's see, this is the switch panel. The engine stop still needs to be wired in. A few other things, but I might need to do a custom exhaust because the torque converter, and if I do, I'll make sure for it to fix the issue with the seat. Now, because this is very sensitive to rain, the engine is as well, and so I don't want to, I don't want to risk ruining it in the rain. So what I'm going to do is just in this pocket keep a tarp, and that'll be more than enough for what I need to take care of this thing. The battery is my second biggest concern after the drivetrain, because I still don't know exactly what I'm going to do with that, but I got a new jack shaft to extend it out. Basically, the sprocket for the torque converter will be somewhere over here, and it's supposed to be somewhere over here. So what I've done is I bought a new bigger sprocket to drive that as the drive sprocket to drive this one. I mean, I wanted to get a smaller one of these, but they didn't know what size I had, and I didn't know either. So all I knew was 60 tooth number 40 chain, so I'm like, screw it, got a bigger sprocket. And then I also got a piece of jack shaft that extends out to like about here, so I'm gonna have to probably cut it so that it only extends to like here. And then put the chain onto that, and it should be good. I also have a choke put here, and of course I had to get rid of this because one, it would rub up against the exhaust, and two, it wasn't working anyway. It would like sag all the way down to here, but it would stop up there. I decided I just don't need it. Seat does move back like that, so you do have some space to, stick stuff into here, and then make sure when you close it against, it happens to close exactly so that it doesn't have much space to get through. Like, yeah. So it won't fly out. I'm probably gonna also put in a 12-volt car socket. Maybe an inverter if I go. There's this pulley here on the other side, on the flywheel side, and what I might just do is put an alternator on it, but I'm thinking one of those cheap Roots superchargers, the mini Roots superchargers you can get on AliExpress. So I might just go with that, and then I just have to wire up the kill switch as well, which is what this second hole is drilled out for. And I should be good from there. But what I might just do is steal one of the batteries off one of the lawn tractors. That whole shed situation is another story. But anyway, might just take one of the batteries out of that and stick it onto here. And they should be good enough for this engine. So yeah, that's the go-kart so far.